116 driven in. He hit 297 with 20 homers away from Pittsburgh, 17 homers at home. Against left-handers, 9 home runs. Against right-handers, 28 home runs. My point being, he's a better left-handed hitter. And if you have to be better on one side of the plate in a split role, I think you want to be better as a left-handed hitter because you're going to see so much more right-handed pitching. Bell had a breakout kind of year in 2019. I look for that to continue for the 27-year-old who comes in at number 10 on my list of first basemen.
So as we now look below our top 10, I'll just pause for a minute. Isn't it just fun? To me, preparing for the draft and drafting is, to me, the best part of the fantasy season. I'm sure, every day we get to follow stats and follow the game, and that's fun. But, preparing for a draft reminds me of preparing a Christmas list. These are the gifts I would really love to have. So, chat room, let's continue to scroll through my top 15 first baseman board. And my number 11 will probably not be yours, but I'm looking at several things. First of all, he's 26 years old. He's on a team that will probably lead the major leagues in home runs this year. He should be the everyday first baseman unless he gets an occasional slot at DH. He's got tremendous power. And my number 11 first baseman on my board is Miguel Sano. Now, I'm well aware of Sano's problems in the past, but I look at what he did last year. His OBA was .403. He hit 34 homers. He drove in 79. And remember, he did not play a full year last year. So now with the added bat of Josh Donaldson in the lineup to already go along with what was the major league leading all-time in one season home run hitting team, 2019 Minnesota Twins, I look for 2020 to be even a bigger year for Sano. Now, last year against lefties, he hit a homer 1 every 10 at-bats. Even a little better than that. He had 11 home runs in 109 official at-bats against left-handed pitching, a 284 average, a 1.006 OPS. Against right-handers, he hit 23 homers in 272 at-bats. Now, he was much better away from Minnesota. He hit 276 on the road with 20 of his 34 home runs coming away from his home park. Sano will probably also be first base, third base eligible in a lot of leagues. He's my number 11. In fact, I could almost argue Sano could move up way into my top 10. I could see Sano falling in somewhere around 5 or 6 on this list if all goes well. I really feel that way. I think the ability is there. The opportunity will be there. Hopefully he's got everything together. Hopefully his health is back. And I'm looking for a big year. If I got Sano late in a draft, I would not be upset at all. My number 12 first baseman on my list, Cleveland Indian Carlos Santana. Now, Santana last year really broke out and had numbers that we're not accustomed to seeing. And I say that because he hit 281. Typically, you don't get much average from Carlos Santana, but last year was not typical. He also scored 110 runs. He hit 34 homers. He had 93 RBIs. He hit 324 against left-handed pitching. Now, he's a switch hitter. 260 against right-handed pitching. He had 11 home runs against lefties. He had 23 against right-handers. Pretty good split, 2-to-1 ratio. He hit 288 away from home and 274 in Cleveland. Great breakout year power-wise. And let's just go back. That was 2019. I I want to go back 2 years earlier to 2017 when he hit 23 home runs. He hit 253 against lefties, 259 against righties. So he has picked up the pace against left-handed pitching. Switch hitting Carlos Santana, my 12th ranked first baseman on my board. So let's keep going here. Number 13, Houston Astro Yuli Gurriel. And again, a lot of questions about how will Houston hit. I think they will hit well. Gurriel's a .298 hitter in 2019. He had 31 homers. He drove in 104. He scored 85 runs. He had 7 homers against lefties and 24 homers against righties. Yeah. So his slugging percentage against same-side pitching, .559. Slugging percentage against left-handed pitching, .481. His OPS against same-side pitching, .906. His OBA, .393. All these numbers are higher against same-sided pitching. You got to think at some point his numbers against lefties get better. And when that happens, his numbers overall will exceed where he was in 2019. I think that can happen this year. Gurriel's definitely on my list. And now I'll go to my last two. I've got 3 honorable mentions, 3 sleepers. You know how I am. I'm always going to give you a sleeper. We'll get to those in a few minutes. But my last 2 picks, I really struggle with these. Because I think it's not for lack of potential with the first guy. In my concern, it's lack of opportunity. And I'm talking about the Baltimore Orioles' Trey Mancini. I'm just concerned that Mancini will not get the RBI opportunities. Okay, he's a great hitter. He hit .291 last year. He drove in 35. He scored 106, and he drove in 97 runs. He hit .277 against lefties and .298 against righties. 18 home runs at home, 17 home runs on the road. A lot of balance here with Mancini. I think the kid's a great hitter. My only concern for having him at number 14 and not higher is that he plays on the Orioles. And they just don't, as I see it right now, have a lot of protection in that lineup for Trey Mancini. I see him getting pitched around a lot. I don't know that his numbers in 2020 equal 2019. I'd like to think they do. I'm pulling for the kid. But in fantasy draft boards, he's my number 14 ranked first baseman. And so finally, to round out my top 15, Philadelphia Philly, Rhys Hoskins. Now, remember Hoskins broke out in his rookie campaign, 2017? And just to go over some of those numbers with you, he hit 18 home runs in 171 at-bats. So it was better than 1 every 10 at-bats. He hit 12 homers against right-handed pitching and hit .285. Struggled against lefties even in 2017, hitting only .171. Last year, the opposite. He hit .261 off of lefties, hit 9 homers. He only hit .215 off of right-handers. He hit 20 homers. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the book is out and right-handed pitchers have read it on Rhys Hoskins. Now, away from Philadelphia last year, here's real concern. .206 batting average. Only .248 batting average at home last year. He hit .226 overall. He had 29 homers, 85 RBIs. He's last on my list because he's last on my list. I just am concerned about what Hoskins will do in 2020. Will he bounce back? Will he continue this .225, .230 batting average? Time will tell. But he ranks 15. So my top 15 are in, and now I've got 3 that I want to keep an eye on. Danny Santana for the Texas Rangers. First of all, Danny Santana is multi-positional, can probably play any position in your fantasy lineup. Last year he hit .283 for Texas with 28 homers, 81 RBIs, and here you go, 21 stolen bases. A position, first base, where you don't typically get stolen bases, and Danny Santana can provide those. My concern with Santana and why he is a sleeper and why he's not ahead of Hoskins, I'm not sure of the role he's going to play on this year's Texas Rangers team. If he's an everyday player, I slot him ahead of Hoskins. That's why he's one of my sleepers. Against right-handers last year, 19 homers, a .285 batting average. Against lefties, 9 homers, a .276 average. A good hitter on a good team in a brand new ballpark. The heat won't wear him down. They're going to have air conditioning in Arlington. I like to keep my eye on Danny Santana. He also can play second base, shortstop, outfield. He's a great player on a fantasy team because you can put him anywhere. But first base, and you may hear his name on another show, okay? But right now, first base, he is one of my sleepers. Another one of my sleepers, New York Yankee, Luke Voit. Yeah, I got to bring in a Yankee. First time I've mentioned a Yankee in my first base. Well, no, that's not true. I mentioned LeMahieu early. But the only other possible first baseman on the Yankees, LeMahieu, played great last year. We know Voit got hurt. But while he was in the lineup, .263 average, 21 homers, 62 ribs. He hit 16 homers against right-handed pitching, 5 against left-handed pitching. He hit .292 away from Yankee Stadium last year. If Voit is given the mantle of the first base job in New York on a regular basis, I'll look for him to hit more than 21 home runs. I'll look for him to drive in 90 runs. He's not going to get you any stolen bases, but he's going to get you power, and he's not going to kill you in average. If Voit, again, here's the wild card, why he's a sleeper, like Santana. I'm just not sure of the role he's going to play yet. Similar to Danny Santana over in Texas. And then finally, I guess my last sleeper, he plays both corner infield positions. He's going to play on a team who's going to do well, probably make the playoffs. He got hurt last year as well. He's got a really quick bat. He's got to get some more lift on the ball, but I really like Yandy Diaz for Tampa Bay. What do you guys think? Now, last year he only hit 14 homers. 7 homers against lefties, 7 homers against righties. He hit .311 against left-handed pitching, .297 at the Trop. He got hurt, missed right much time. But now he's going to have a full year. First, really, hopefully, full year, considering last year was injury marred. I like the Tampa team. Diaz has a quick bat. Came over from Cleveland in a trade. First year last year in Tampa Bay. He's 28 years old. He's my third sleeper. Voit, Santana, and Diaz. My sleepers at first base as we head into 2020. So that's my look at first base position. Tomorrow we're going to look at second base. We're just going to go around the infield. I'm going to rank my top 15 on my draft board, give you a few sleepers, see what you think about where I am on my board compared to where you are on yours. Not saying I'm always right. Probably wrong. Real quick, just some notes. Benintendi's been working with a hitting coach in the offseason. That's a report out this morning. Tim Hayes said he's in really good shape. Hayes met with a slimmer Benintendi, who looked like in 2019 he had bulked up, but this year appears to have lost some weight. The 25-year-old looking for a junior year, more like his freshman year, working out with his hitting coach in the offseason. Lorenzo Cain is healthy. Yeah, Lorenzo Cain has recovered from his knee and ankle pain, feels healthy, heading into spring training. He's 33 years old. Played in that Milwaukee lineup in that great hitter's park called Brewers Park. Matt Joyce lands with the Marlins. Not sure what his role will be. It's a one-year deal. playing for his 7th team now that he's with the Marlins. A lot of youth